Tom, we didn't get a chance to really sort of talk about this the other night. You wrote that book 10 years ago, and it was about the kind of upsurge in the lurch to the right in the state then, 10 years ago. It has only gotten worse in the 10 years since. How do you make sense of that?
Well, it's not, it's not, how do I make sense of it? It just kept happening, man. It's, it's not something that, that I'm happy to have been right about, but it's something that was, that was so utterly predictable looking at America at the time of George W. Bush that there's a line in the book, where I said that out in Kansas, the gravity of discontent pulls to the right and to the right and further to the right. And I like that line, the gravity of discontent, because that's everywhere now. You look at, we just went through this wrenching financial crisis, and where did the discontent go? Who grabbed hold of the discontent and ran with it? The right. Yeah. And the other side of the book was about, I mean, this is a failure of Democrats to win places like Kansas, to win, all of these sort of hard, these places that are really have not done well by conservative economics. Places that have done real poorly because of them. And yet the Democrats still can't make any traction, can't get any traction here. Look at West Virginia, same deal.
Then there's another tactic that I think we're seeing in certain places, which is essentially standing up for moderation, right? Standing up for prudence and hoping to fight to kind of wage politics as a kind of like, oh, well, let's get back to the center. And you're seeing no, really, that's very different than what you were recommending.
I shouldn't laugh. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't laugh, but because the people who say that are very well intentioned. You can't have a center if you don't have a left, Mr. Hayes. It's just like, it's almost simple. It's like geometry almost.
Right. So the point being that you cannot. I mean, if I'm
you can't be balancing both sides if you don't have two sides. If all the fire and the energy are concentrated on the right and there is no comparable movement on the left, And by the way, there are so many examples of this in What's the Matter with Kansas. I got it out and went over it again the other day, of where the right deliberately acts like a left-wing movement and uses left-wing language. And, you saw this especially with the Tea Party movement, deliberately confusing the issue and appealing to people with old-timey progressive and populist language. And they do this all the time. They have got the discontent. They've captured it. And discontent, man, that's a growing field,